Hi friends, this is Kari and I am with Cheryl and Colleen, and last week we did the project recipe Winter Bliss and we did it traditionally, and I did not have time to record the digital version of this, so I wanted to get on Zoom, record it so you could see that, and I was going to walk through that, but when I went into my Artisan, my layouts panel was backwards. So I thought, even though I'm going to do the recording of the project recipe, I thought I would just walk through what happens and how do you fix that. It's actually a very, very easy fix. So what I'm talking about is if you go into your Artisan, and when you normally would find the pages and photos and content information over on the right side of your page, and the elements panel would be over here on the left. This is what you see instead. It's all kind of bunched up over here on the right. So what I did was I went into the FOREVER Help Center and I typed Artisan Layout, and this was the first article that appeared, and it says how to get the Artisan content panel back on the right side of the software program. So it's very easy to find this. Again, I went to the Help Center, I typed in the search bar Artisan Layout, and I ended up, this very top one is the one that I'm looking for. So it gives you the information and it says make certain your Artisan's current. Well, that was not a problem. So what I had to do was close my Artisan. I had to download this file, layouts.xml, which is down here at the bottom of this article. So it's really easy. You just click it and it downloads to your computer. And then it says to navigate to the correct folder. So you open File Explorer, browse to this folder. And this is one I regularly back up with my Artisan information every month. So I knew exactly where this was. But if you don't, you would actually go to your C drive and it tells you here, you go to your user and it's got to be your user, app data, roaming, forever, Artisan 6. And down in all of here, there is this layouts.xml. So all I'm going to do is take the one I downloaded. I'm going to replace the one that's here by just copying and pasting it. And when it asks me if I want to replace the one that's here, I say yes, because something got off or on this particular layouts file. And once it's there, you reopen your Artisan 6 project and magically you now have everything back in the right place. So I've reopened Artisan. You can see now my elements are on the left, my pages, photos, and content are on the right, and I am all set to go. So that kind of stalled me out for a moment, but it's all good. I can go ahead and work with this. So I wanted to take a look at the project recipe and just assess, are the pages similar enough that I can do one and then kind of create the other? And the answer is, well, kind of, sort of. But I think part of the keys of this project recipe, taking a look at it, is it's pretty simple and straightforward with some just pieces of paper and some photos. And then you've got a border. And when we did this traditionally, it's a 12-inch border, 2 of them. The one on the right page is cut into pieces, and part of it's put at the top and part of it's put at the bottom. And the only other thing is this banner that we cut here. So I'm going to walk through an easy way to do that. So I think for simplicity, I am going to actually do this, and I am going to decide that what I'm going to kind of do is a theme on the left-hand side. So I'll cut my border and then I will go ahead and duplicate it, or actually probably mirror image it on the right. So if you're using the project recipe from CM, you have the information about the layout, which is really helpful as you're creating your digital copy. And if you're actually doing this traditionally, the cutting guide is here. This is helpful for figuring out the measurements of each of the pieces as you're going through. And it also reminds you of the photo sizes here on the bottom. If you are doing this with CM's Winter Bliss, they do provide an advisor guide, which gives you a couple of suggested paper pairings, which can be really helpful. So sometimes taking a look at these might give you some ideas of pairings that you might want to use. But the nice thing about digital is that you can change out your paper as much as you want, and you know that you can just keep on changing it until you find something that you think looks complementary. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to move this page out of my way, and I am going to work on this page right here. And you can see I'm on page 188, which means that I've created a lot of pages this year for Consistently Creative Crew. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a shape, 12 by 12. And I'm going to just create this. I'm going to go ahead and put it, so my X and my Y is at 0, and then I know it is right in the right place. But because what I really want to do is be able to show you, I want to just do a little bit of color matching here. I'm going to put the sample page off to the side here, and I'm just going to do some color sampling. So I'm going to fill this background using the color picker and just get the gray. So while I know that this was a pattern paper, but this at least will give me something that starts out looking fairly similar to what this piece was. So then the next piece that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in is I'm going to add in piece G, which is this white piece that's kind of behind this photo here. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a shape, and this is 4 inches wide and 9.75 tall. And I'm going to go ahead and fill it here. So sample, and going to be almost white. I'm going to click create. And this is going to end up over here somewhere, and I'm just going to wait and place it until I get this next piece in. So the next piece was C, and this one is 6 inches by 9.75, and this ended up being a dark blue. Okay. So this one I want on the edge, but I want it centered top to bottom. So instead of trying to mess around with figuring out where it is, the easiest way is to have it selected, go to align, and center it vertically. And now I'm going to just slide this other one and have it align. And as I grab it, I can actually make certain that it's aligned nicely. But also, if you have a hard time with those alignment tools, the X for that piece is 2 and the Y is 1.125. So that is those two pieces. And then we ended up with a couple of photo mats. So I'm going to go ahead and insert those. The first one is 5.5 by 4.25. And this actually was white. It was actually truly white cardstock. I'm going to go OK and click create. And that's going to go over here, and I'm going to end up going ahead and putting the photo frame on it. And it was a 5 by 3.75 photo. I'm just going to center it using the 2nd and the 5th. I'm going to go ahead and group it because I'm going to add a second one because it goes right below it. It would help if I copied it first and then I pasted it. And what I want is I want these aligned vertically with that base. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to group these, and then I'm going to center them horizontally with the base, and then I'm going to ungroup. So I've already got part of this coming together. I will go ahead and do the photo mat for this one. And this one was shape J, I believe, on the original, which was 3.5 by 5. And I'm going to go ahead and fill it with this lighter blue that I can sample from there. Create. It's going to be somewhere in there. And I also can go ahead and insert the photo frame. And this one is going to be 3 by 4. And I want it centered on this. Select the right things. So that one and second and the fifth. And then I want them centered vertically. There we go. So that's kind of the basis of this one. I'm going to go ahead and do these two little pieces of banners that were over on this side. So they started out at, they're 1/2 inch wide and 4.25 is the one, and it's white. And I am just going to copy this, and I use Control-C. And the second one is still the same width, but it is 3.25. And I'm going to go ahead and just do that. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to do banner cuts, and depending on what you're doing is and how you like to do it, I think all methods are great. So one thing that I like to do with one, I like to put in some ruler markers to just kind of help me. So I'm going to have this one. I'm going to do a vertical ruler marker that goes through these squares, which are at the top and the bottom of this piece that I'm going to actually make the banner cut out. And since it's coming in the bottom, that will help me align the little triangle cutout that I really want to do here. So this is one way to do it. And it really depends on what you find to be the easiest. So I've set this ruler marker up here. It's right here at the bottom right now. And it is at, look at the location of it. It is at exactly 4 1/4, which is as long, the same place that this is as long as this banner strip. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to put one at 3.75, and if you want to do it perfectly, you can see that I didn't quite do it. I can set it though by right mouse clicking on it. So what if I go in here and I go right click shape, edit shape, and I go to this bottom and I grab a point and I bring it up here. Now that might be a really, really deep banner for what I'm trying to achieve here. So maybe what I really want is something around this at about 4. So you can decide how deep you want this banner to be in your, how deep a cutout you want. But by putting this ruler guide here and having some idea of, okay, if I cut it and it was the same height as it was, the banner is wide, that's why I put that one ruler marker up there. But I thought that was a little big for this real skinny little guy. So I moved it back down. But the nice thing about doing it this way is I can come over here, I can take this other one, and I am going to center the two of them on top of each other. I am just going to hide the bottom one. And now I can do right click, shape, edit shape, put it over the same spot, do the exact same thing, and I've already got a ruler guide to help me. So I can just grab that point there. It's got the same cutout, and I can do okay. So now I know that my cutouts are the same. They're going to look similar as I put them on my paper, and then I can put them however I would like. And they did have the longer one on the right side. They had the smaller one on the left. So now you can see they look pretty nice together. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove all of my ruler markers, and that is that part. So I'm going to save it because I've actually done quite a bit of work, and sometimes when you do a bunch of work and you don't save it, it gets kind of, I just don't want to take a chance. So the other part is whatever shape I want to do. And so CM had a cute winter boots punch. Now, depending on what you're going to do and what you're going to use, there are many shapes that you can get. You can pick a kit that has some kind of shape that you can use off of the bottom. You can create your own shape from a rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I know that I've shown how to do this in the past, but it doesn't hurt to show it again. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this. And one of the ways to do this is by selecting on the shape, going to the Cutter's Cut Shaped Edge. And it says it has to be flattened. And then whatever last shape you used, you can actually see. And I have a lot of shapes, but we've got a lot here within the original ones that come with the Forever. So I think there are many options that you could use. But I think what I will do is maybe I will just do this punched one for right now. And I think that I want it so it's exactly the opposite of what it is now. So it comes up with a scallop. So I'm going to rotate the angle to -90 and cut it. And so I kind of like actually how it kind of shaped up, but I notice it's not perfect here at the edge. So what I think I'm going to do is just change the aspect ratio just a little bit so it'll line up perfectly. And now you can see based on the shading that I'll get a really nice indentation right near one edge and another indentation near the other edge. I'm going to go ahead and keep both areas because sometimes I keep the wrong ones and it's easier to just delete it afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. So this is one piece and the other piece is like that. So I think that turned out pretty good. I kind of like that. I can slide it there. I'll be able to fill it with whatever paper I want. And again, we have a lot of shapes that are available not only within the Artisan software itself, but also some that various designers have provided for us. So I do believe that this was actually cut originally with a different paper. So I'm going to just fill it with something else. And because they did the boots and they had a big cutout behind it, they put something behind it because they wanted to be able to see the boots in a different color than the stuff behind it. And that will work okay with this. So I'm going to go ahead and add a thin strip, and I'm not exactly sure how thin I'm going to have to make it to use. But what I'd like to have is those to be white dots shining through. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. I'm going to drag it behind. And what I'd like is to not have it showing in the other spots, which I don't know if it'll work, because it might have been the way the dimensions that I used to cut it. But that's pretty good. So that's always an option for you. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And just to give you a quick reminder of what the page originally looked like, I've got the banners, I've got this photo matted, I've got the base behind it, I've got the other photos and the base and this trimmed up here. So I'm going to go ahead and mirror image it, get it started for the other page, and then just make all the adjustments that I need to make for that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the drop down arrow, insert the mirror image. And because it inserts it before, I am going to click off of it and then drag it to the other side and then click back. So I know I don't need these pieces, which is kind of nice. But I do want this piece to be the height of the paper, and I need it to be over all the way in the right-hand corner. Oh, I can do that. I want there's two photos on this side, but they're both square. So I really want this to be 3.5 inches, and I want the photo to be, I believe it's 3 inches square. So I'm gonna That's 3.5. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center it with the 2nd and the 5th. I'm going to group them, bring it over here. I'm going to copy. Nope, I'm going to copy that one and I'm going to paste. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and, because this piece is 4 inches, I want to cut this at that same point because I'm going to end up sliding this banner up to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that right now. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to group them. And it won't let you do that. So I don't really want to flatten them now. So I'm going to keep them separated. So I just wanted you to see what would happen. So if you haven't picked your papers yet, you're going to want to do these 2 cuts separately. The nice thing is you'll be able to tell it, once you do it the one time, you will set it up with the right angle the next time. So I'm going to just cut it right there. I'm going to keep both areas and cut. And now I'm going to do the back one. And I'm going to just slide it over, keep both areas and cut. So now there's 2 pieces here. So I'm going to grab both and I'm just going to slide these up to the top. And they had them all the way up at the very top, but I'm going to just slide it down just a little bit because I know with my artisan project that I need to give a little bit of extra space there. So the other parts that are left is that this darker teal piece was actually this color in the sample. And you can see it right here. You can see I've got those 2 photos. I've got this. Oh. And the thing that I don't have, and actually it doesn't show it quite right, is that the part behind here was blue. Oh, it's this. Oh, it mirror imaged this too. That's interesting. I don't think I had ever noticed that. So I'm going to arrange and I'm going to flip that back. Okay, now that makes sense. So when I mirror image the page, it mirror imaged this image also. Okay, so the part that I'm looking at is here. So I've got, this is my strip at the top. I've got the photos here. There's this thin strip here. So I want to add that in. And then I want to change this background to this blue. So let me go ahead and do that part first. I'll do this. Change it to that blue. And this is good. And then I want to add a little strip. So let me go ahead and back and see the whole page. So I'm going to insert a shape. I'm going to insert a rectangle. And this was a 1/2 inch wide, 12 inches long. And I want to sample color. Say okay. Create. And put this over here. Okay. And I want it underneath those borders from before. And I think we're good. I think that's everything. I'm going to go ahead and put this up. Yeah, it's everything. So I will go into 2-page view and you can see how this is. So I think this is pretty much how this sample worked out. We've got these 2 banners on the one side. We've got borders running across the page with one little piece of it up on the upper right. We have 2, 4, 6, 7 photos with a couple of different colors. And I do want to remind you, if you decide that this layout is something that you want to save because you want to maybe use it again, You have to go back to page view, and I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it out as a template. So you could save this out as a template. So when you go to save and you export your current pages, it is saved. So I'm going to go ahead. So save as, export current page. No. Okay, I have a space on my hard drive for templates. And if you save the file type as the Artisan 6 page, you can actually get a template that you can bring in that's very similar to like blueprints that Pixels to Pages produces. So I am going to create actually a new folder here for creative memories. Project recipe. And I'm going to put them in here because I have not been doing this, but I wanted to do this. So this is Winter Bliss, and this is the left page. And I'm going to go ahead and put it was actually put out in November of 2025. So I'm going to save that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing with the right page. So I'm going to go in and save as, export it. And this time, instead of saying left page, I'm going to say right. So now I can bring those in, and just a reminder, in order to do that, when you're on a blank page, you can go up to the menu here, and there are two ways to bring in a template. Under this area that says page and template, it would actually replace the page that's there. So if you happen to be working on a page and you didn't actually move to a blank page, it would overwrite it and it will give you a warning. So, but I don't like to do that because I've made the mistake before thinking I was doing one thing. So I always like to add a page. So I can add a page file from my computer. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to navigate there to that creative memories, and I can bring this in, and it'll take a moment. So I will let it work, and I hope that you have enjoyed some of these project recipes that we've done this year. We have one more week left, and we're going to be doing the Simple Page Kit, which is our last public Zoom for 2025. If you have enjoyed these and you'd like to join us again on Zoom in 2026, there will be a new Zoom link coming out. So while I was talking, you can see that it added that here at the end, and I can just drag it up. And I thought I'd show you the page that I was actually creating when we did this originally, and mine looks nothing like winter. So I was doing this with some pictures of fish when they don't cooperate when you're diving, because they swim right out of your field of view. They turn their butts to you so you can't see their faces, and they swim underneath you. So I was making this page because it seems like a lot of my photos from when we're diving end up being ones that I say the fish weren't cooperating. So I hope again you enjoyed this. If you did, please give us a like or drop us a comment. We're always looking forward to hearing from you and how we can help you better. And we hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Comment on Facebook or on YouTube. And thanks again.